Ladies and gentlemen, how are you all doing? It's a really wonderful night. It's a wonderful day today because we got brand new footage for a little game that I'm certain you all are looking forward to. How are you all doing tonight? I see that a lot of people are coming in tonight, and I am so glad that you all are coming here to watch a video by little old me. I'll be honest with you guys, I kind of don't see myself as a very important Bayonetta figure in the long run. I'm just the kind of guy that really loves making combo videos, and I also like talking about Bayonetta from a technical standpoint sort of thing. So it's kind of cool that all of the effort that I've put down for my content is paying off, you know, like having a nice little audience that really enjoys the stuff that I do. And I'm really glad that you all are here to enjoy it, because I really want to get down to talking about Bayonetta 3. I've already mentioned this on a couple of Discord groups. I've brought it up on my own Discord group. I've brought up in a Wonderful 101 group, the Discord. Let's see, which one was it? The CUHRAYZEE Discord. I've also brought this up in the Raccoonity, but from everything that I have been watching from this 7-minute trailer, I just want to point out that everything I've seen so far, I actually really like, which is actually shocking because I know a lot of you guys know me very well. You guys know me as the guy who's been very harsh with Bayonetta 2 since the day the game came out. Well, actually, no, that's a lie, because I actually did like Bayonetta 2 a lot when it came out. But over the years and over the months, days, hours, seconds of me playing the game and then comparing it to 1, I started noticing these weird things that Bayonetta 2 had that sort of started to rub me the wrong way, to the point that it's like, I can't really stand the things that Bayonetta 2 does. And with Bayonetta 3 on the horizon, I was a little worried about whether or not Bayonetta 3 was going to satisfy my desire. And I just want to point out that after watching this trailer, I think we might actually be in good hands. Like, I actually think Bayonetta 3 may end up being a phenomenal game, not just for the casual players, but for the veterans as well. I really think this game has what it takes to bridge the gap together and make us a one big happy Bayonetta family, and that is the one thing that I want more than anything else. It may not be super technical like Bayonetta 1, because we ultimately don't know. It could be like a mixture of 1 and 2, where it has elements of 1 and elements of 2, and there are some things that might be bad. I don't want to say it's bad, but it's one of those where it's like, I'll take what I can get. But just know that I'm happy with what I've seen so far, and I definitely want to go through it frame by frame. You know what I mean? So I see that there's a lot of people coming into the chat, and I just want to say hello, all of you guys. I'm so happy to see you here. I see that Couch is here, Rapid Cola's here. I see Jenda Doll. Am I pronouncing that correctly? Last Gogeta. John Chin. Oh, John Chin, buddy, how's it going, man? Ghostlight is here. Oh, everyone's saying it's bacon time. I fucking love that line. I'll go through that line when we get to that. Okay, for real. Analysis starts now. So the way we're going to do this is we're going to watch the stream from beginning to end, just see the whole thing unfold, and then once that's done, we'll go through the entire video frame by frame. You got it? Okay, let's do it.
If I cut in, wouldn't want to step on anyone's toes.
She's stylish, she's deadly, she's Bayonetta. This Umbran Witch talks a big game, and with your divine intervention, she'll slay.
I'll be honest, like, the thing that I really like about this game's presentation so far, in terms of the combat, is how wild the weaves really are. Like, it's no longer about punching weaves or kicking weaves. Now she's really swinging those weaves around like crazy.
And while exploring locales such as this one, unknown creatures will attack without warning. Time for Bayonetta to do what she does best,
which is doing combos.
To execute punches, kicks, and fire Bayonetta's guns. Pull off multiple attacks using different button combinations, or by pressing them repeatedly. Even new players can perform hair-raising combos with ease. Of course, there's more to Bayonetta than just attacking. Dodge incoming attacks at just the right moment to activate Witch Time, slowing down time for a brief moment.
I definitely feel there's a lot more fluidity to the gameplay, although it could just be visual purposes, you know.
The effects of Witch Time last longer if you dodge at the last possible moment. So study your enemy's movements carefully.
Time your dodges carefully. I want you guys to remember that, because that's super important.
Combine powerful attacks and Bayonetta's Witch Time ability to eliminate threats in style.
Seems like you're ready for the leash.
Wielding infernal demons.
Even Umbran witches need a little extra help when taking on larger-than-life monsters. Time to summon an infernal demon. Take control of these demonic darlings to wallop enemies with mighty moves.
Mighty moves! You can now summon giant monsters to do your bidding!
On her as well.
I actually like this a lot more than Numbered Climax.
You also want to keep an eye on this gauge too, as summoning demons consumes Bayonetta's magic. Knowing when to switch between commanding infernal demons and controlling Bayonetta is a wicked way to keep your foes on their toes.
I like the idea that they really want you to be playing with these creatures where you're always intertwining between being this giant creature or controlling Bayonetta and letting the creature do its auto attacks. But what's really cool is that while intertwining, you can like work as a pair. It's really cool. It kind of has elements of Astral Chain.
Or conjure up an otherworldly ally to counter an incoming attack with the Assault Slave skill. Try triggering Witch Time as Bayonetta. Then switch to your Infernal Demon to land some heavy blows. Combining Bayonetta's abilities with the might of Infernal Demons is truly a match made in heaven. The demonic delights don't end there. By channeling the power of demons bound to her weapons, Bayonetta can transform her appearance and access show-stopping new abilities. For example,
I'm sorry, I wish I could continue talking, but I'm just mesmerized by everything I'm seeing.
Like this.
Again, I really love how they made the Wicked Weaves like much more swinging instead of just punching. It's like now you got these wacky screen clearers and it's really fun. God, I love this new hammer because they did the one thing I wanted them to do. And look at this. This is freaking cool. They really are intertwining these whole demon masquerades so you could just travel the world with them. They really do want to make you mix and match with these new creatures to allow you to scavenge the world. Which is so cool.
Use Bayonetta's stylish moves and the unholy power of the infernal demons to come out on top. When clearing a chapter,
By the way,
you'll receive
I like this new PlatinumGames, this new
show 'em you can
screen
set
rank,
style and aim for
because it actually does a lot. And I'll go into that in the analysis. Right now we're just watching this, you know. I'm going to be very, very honest with you guys. I actually think Viola is going to be
training. Viola
the character that steals the show in terms of gameplay. Because I think Viola may be the character that will definitely make pulling off combos a lot of fun.
example, Viola can activate Witch Time by blocking incoming attacks at the right time.
And the fact that her whole playstyle is countering, parries. I love parries. And here comes a character that's designed to be nothing but parries. She's basically Raiden from Metal Gear Rising.
While Cheshire is summoned, Viola fights barehanded and without the aid of Witch Time. while her capricious kitty goes to town on any enemy it can get its paws on.
Oh my god. So fucking cool. Those kicks are amazing.
Between Viola's swordplay and Cheshire supported strikes to bring the fight to any situation.
Play your way. Options.
You can change the difficulty settings at any time to suit you. In addition to the 3 difficulty modes,
I like how now they spell it out for the players what to pick instead of like third climax, infinite climax, second climax. They just write it in plain English. Casual, normal, expert. I'm fine with that.
by simply pressing one button.
I like how they're putting attention to the immortal marionette in order to let people know that, hey, you don't need to worry about doing these complicated combos. Just mash away with this cool equipment. That's fine. Accessibility is important. Like, yeah, it makes the game easier, but it's meant to be easier because it's accessibility.
Tap into Bayonetta's naughtier side? Even more over-the-top moves and combos await you. Each one more beautiful and brutal than the last. Get ready for a devilishly good time that'll leave you bewitched.
Always getting in over your head.
Bayonetta 3 launches October 28th.
I love that new kiss animation. Okay, now we can go ahead and stop this video and go back because why the hell do I have everything set to autoplay? Alright guys. I don't even know where to begin. I'm not exactly a genius when it comes to analysis videos. I'm not really good at analyzing, so please don't expect any super big brain, highly sophisticated analysis out of me, okay? I'm only going to be able to explain what I know from my perspective using the knowledge that I understand about Bayonetta. There are some things I might explain to you guys that may sound a little esoteric, maybe stuff that you guys may not be aware of, but it's stuff I really want to talk about because overall, everything that I have seen about this trailer has me really excited. I really think Bayonetta 3 is going to completely demolish Bayonetta 2 to pieces. It's going to throw Bayonetta 2 into the garbage where it belongs. Maybe I'm being too harsh with Bayonetta 2, but that's the way I feel, you know? Bayonetta 2 did so many bad decisions that to this day makes me feel left out. Like, there's so many questionable choices that Bayonetta 2 did, and it's looking like Bayonetta 3 is rectifying so many of that, you know? Let's see. Let me look through the chat. Okay. So much people here, man. Thank you all so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to watch my stream. I don't consider myself a popular person. I can be a somewhat controversial Bayonetta fan. I totally understand that. Let's see. Well, they still brought back Bayo 2 Angels and Demons. I don't care if they bring those back as long as they're still fun to fight against, you know. Yeah, it's a lot of people are excited about Bayonetta 3. All right, so let's not waste time. Let's go through this frame by frame. I'm going to point out the things that I noticed, and I'm also going to just take closer looks at this trailer and see if there's anything that I can spot that's worth mentioning. So let's do it. I know the key here. Let's see, hold on. I know that there is a key here that allows me to go through this video frame by frame, which are these arrow keys, so we're good on that. So there isn't really much I can say about this intro because it's pretty much the same from what we've seen before, just a little bit more view on Bayonetta herself. Oh, and by the way, let me lower the volume on this. Like, if you guys think it's too low, let me know, but I want to try to keep it low because now I'm going to be the one talking over this and I don't want the video to be obscuring anything that I got to say, you know what I mean? First of all, what the hell? No, arrow keys are on the volume button. So, this Wicked Weave is honestly amazing. It reminds me a lot of the hammer It reminds me a lot of the Hammer Umbran Climax spin. I don't know if you guys remember, but when you have, I believe the name of the weapon was Takemikazuchi. I believe it's Takemikazuchi. I always forget the name. I always just call it Tickle Me Elmo. When you use the hammer with Umbran Climax and you do the spinning stick move, it creates this giant wave of arms that pushes everything out of the way, and that's one of the few attacks that I really like when you tap into the Umbran Climax ability. But I really like that they made it an ability here where it's more natural to Bayonetta for her to be doing that spinning move, and that's an honestly real cool screen clearer. And you know, I gotta give props to them for actually coming up with more creative ways for you to bring out these weaves without the need of any fancy weapons to get it to be done. You know what I mean? It's the 360 attack that I really like.
She'll slay anyone who stands in her way.
I'm not entirely sure
She'll slay
if Bayonetta can throw out her wicked weaves naturally, because they keep showing clips where she's always turning into that form before going into the finishing combo move. But if this is the new way to do finishers, I'm okay with that, really. I really am, because it's pretty cool. What I like about it is that it's definitely incentivizing players to finish their combos. They really are harkening back to the original playstyle for Bayonetta 1, where it was extremely important to focus on doing your wicked weaves. And to do that, you had to finish your combos. So here in this trailer, they keep mentioning that you need to do a proper combo finisher. And the emphasis on transforming into this ability or this form in order to do that sort of makes me feel like they really do want to incentivize players to go back and actually focus on finishing their moves rather than just repeating the same move over and over and over again. I remember back in Bayonetta 2, whenever you would repeat the same move, your score would not diminish, which meant that it wasn't really about finishing combos, more that you just had to go for high DPS moves constantly, which meant that finishing combos wasn't really a necessity in Bayonetta 2. It was more of a necessity in 1 only because you needed to make sure that your score doesn't go into diminishing returns. I don't know if Bayonetta 3 is going to do diminishing returns like Bayonetta 1 did, but I really like that the focus here is once again finishing combos. And I feel like finishing combos is going to be more important because that's when you tap into this really cool ability, and I'm all for it. You know what I mean? It's really good. If there's no diminishing returns, whatever, it's not the end of the world, but it would be nice if the score system can reflect on players just simply abusing the same moves over and over and over again. I think that is extremely important in the grand scheme of things, but it's not as important as many people make it out to be. I don't know. I feel like the Bayonetta 3 being totally different, maybe the lack of a diminishing return may be necessary. I'm not entirely sure. I'm just trying my best to spitball and see things on both sides of the coin. You know what I mean? I think it has a good recovery, so there are a good risk to get punished. So no spamming. Yeah, absolutely.
anyone who stands in her way.
Why don't I try a more attentive?
The ways of the witch. So now we get to look at Bayonetta very closely.
Bayonetta's quest will take her to...
By the way, I'm so happy we have a Wonderful 101 reference here. If you guys didn't notice, this building says Wonder 101. I love you, Platinum Games. Never forget those funny, cheeky stuff that you enjoy doing.
all sorts of places. And what...
And also, I want to mention, I actually love these interior locations. These interior locations really do look amazing. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Devil May Cry 5, where the environment feels like desolate places. Like how when you play as Nero, you get to go through this city that's been abandoned, and all you see are these tentacles that are taking over the place. Here, you got desolate places because all the humans ran out because these homunculus are taking over. So now you're left with an empty mall. And this empty mall just looks really cool. There's so much, I don't know how to explain it, but it's something that Gears of War Gears of War coined this term called destroyed beauty. The beauty of an empty, desolate place that has been destroyed due to circumstances around the universe of the story. And here, it's not destroyed, it's more abandoned, but it really does give this sort of cool area for Bayonetta to work with. And the idea that now you're going to be at a shopping mall beating up enemies makes for some really cool environments that I definitely think we'll see a lot of in these combo videos. Because the thing I never really liked about doing combo videos is that you were only locked to certain places to do these combos, and it was always these boring backgrounds all the time. You know, it's always the Paradiso area, or maybe it's always the Route 66 area. But here I really hope that we get more places to explore so that we can have these wide variety of arenas for us to be battling enemies in. And so far, this mall, I love the mall. It looks really damn cool.
While exploring locales such as this one, unknown creatures will attack without warning.
Without warning. Oh, and I like how they pop in.
Such as this one.
Like they're there hiding like mannequins until the verse begins, and now they just break out of their disguise. It's really funny. I like that a lot.
Time for Bayonetta to do what she does best.
Look at that bounce.
Time for Bayonetta to do what she
Although I didn't mention this anywhere, but when I saw this ground bounce, we do have ground bounce, but unfortunately it doesn't look like we have OTGs because the enemy is no longer in the falling position. Instead, the enemy immediately stands back up. So unfortunately, it doesn't look like OTGs are back, but it's not a huge deal. I'm not asking for Bayonetta 3 to be Bayonetta 1.5. The bounces are there, but the OTGs are not. Not a huge deal, but that is something that I need to point out.
use these buttons to execute punches.
But that kick, that's actually one of the best moves that Bayonetta has from Bayonetta 2. In Bayonetta 2, when you do the, I believe it was the punch, punch, kick, kick, kick combo, she would raise up her kick, and any enemies that was in the way would get hit into the sky, and then they would stay in the air spinning. It is such an amazing move. And I'm really glad they brought that back because it does make for some really amazing setups. I'm sorry, I cannot waste time talking about OTGs. Let's continue moving on. Just so you can understand what I mean by OTG is like an attack where when an enemy bounces, there's a brief moment where they're like locked in the sky that you can be able to continue comboing them and then prop them back up into the air. It kind of works like Marvel vs. Capcom 3. There's no official term for this, no official term whatsoever. I just like calling it OTG because it's a term that came from Marvel vs. Capcom because it kind of works the same way. You get me? Let's see. Is anyone else in the chat?
Kicks and fire Bayonetta's
Because it seems like the chat just completely stopped.
guns. Put
Hold on.
to execute punches. Kicks and
Yeah, that kick combo is
buttons to
fantastic. I'm really glad that it came back. Because it makes for such an awesome setup.
use these buttons to execute.
Like, look at this. Enemies are spinning helplessly, which allows Bayonetta to go into her masquerade form. And finish it off with that shove kick. Oh my god, that is such an amazing kick. And she's doing two kicks, so she's doing a drop kick. It's so awesome. I really like it.
Multiple attacks using different button combinations, or by pressing them repeatedly.
Oh,
Multiple attacks using
I believe this move that she's doing right here is the new Umbran Spear. If you guys remember, in Bayonetta 1 and 2, Bayonetta had this ability called the Umbran Spear, where Bayonetta would immediately warp or dart to the nearest enemy after you double tap the lock-on button. And when you do that, she will turn into a bird and fly right up to the enemy at instant high speed. Here, it looks like there's something similar, but she's not turning into a bird. She's just zapping over to the enemy in her masquerade form. Like right here, you can see right here. Right there, she darts right up to the enemy. I believe that's the new Umbran Spear ability.
Them repeatedly. Even new players can perform hair-raising combos with ease. Of course, there's more to Bayonetta than just attacking. Dodge incoming attacks at just the right moment to activate Witch Time, slowing down time for a brief moment. To activate Witch Time.
That launcher looks amazing.
To activate Witch
That
Time.
kick, this kick launcher.
Down time for a brief
Boom. That backflip kick is amazing. I love that a lot. I feel like I think they did get rid of Panther Within and Crow Within in favor of these new Masquerade moves, which I'm okay with. As long as they still function the same, I'm okay with that. Because, I mean, if they got rid of it and you're stuck walking, that would suck.
moment. Seize this opportunity to dish out some serious damage. The effects of Witch Time last longer if you dodge at the last possible.
Hold on. I'm trying to see if there's anything interesting here that I can bring up. I do want to point out something kind of interesting here.
The effects of Witch Time
I think tripping may be coming back. Because if you look here, Bayonetta does a sweep kick. I'm going to try to slow it down for you guys. Hold on. Okay, right here. Look at how the enemy reacts when she does that sweep kick to the enemy. Look at that. The enemy flips over. There's a chance that tripping may actually be coming back in Bayonetta 3. Because in Bayonetta 2, if you tried to trip an enemy, they would fall to the side but then stand back up immediately. They wouldn't be helpless on the floor. Now, of course, this is happening while you're in Witch Time form, so we don't know the full story, but I think tripping may actually serve a big purpose once again.
Witch Time damage. Seize this opportunity to dish out some serious damage. The effects of Witch Time
Look at that. That tripping is here. How effective it is, we don't know yet. But the fact that enemies do react to your trips gives me a lot of hope.
Witch Time lasts longer if you dodge at the last possible moment. So study your enemy's movements carefully.
By the way, this is what I wanted to mention. They specifically mention here that timing your dodge carefully. Wow, I'm wording this incorrectly. Okay, so the announcer here is clearly stating that by timing your dodges more carefully, you get longer witch time. This is the same witch time system that Bayonetta 1 relied on. Because in Bayonetta 2, timing your dodge did not give you longer witch time. It just did not. Witch time would be based on specific enemy attacks. So one enemy, you could dodge off of their attack and it'll give you like 1 second. But if you dodge an attack from a different enemy, that could give you possibly 3 to 4 seconds. The system for how witch time worked in Bayonetta 2 was very questionable because it was really difficult to figure out what witch time did what. It was like an element that you had to really constantly guess. It wasn't a solid system where you could rely on your own playstyle to figure out how long witch time would last. This was also a problem in Bayonetta 2 because if you tried to go for a perfect parry, you would still end up with a really short witch time. You see, in Bayonetta 1, if you do a perfect parry off of an enemy attack, you were granted 8 seconds of witch time compared to the normal 4 that you would get if you just did a regular dodge. So I'm hoping with this trailer, with them emphasizing that the timing of your dodge is important because it's longer, means that now the return of high risk, high reward dodging tools will be back. That's what I'm hoping for. I remember talking to some people on Raccoonity saying that getting bat within dodge and being rewarded with 6 seconds was too much. And while I'm willing to agree on that, I still think it's important to have that kind of system there in order to let people know that the timing of your dodge means everything. Even if you do a panic dodge and you accidentally get a bat within, you at least see that you get something good out of doing a bat within dodge. I'm so sorry. I ate earlier, so like I'm already like gassing up with the meals here. So I do apologize. But yeah, I really think with them pointing out that timing of your dodge is important because it gives you longer witch time, I'm really hoping that means that we get to see more of Bayonetta 1's witch time system here. I was talking to CUHRAYZEE in my personal Bayonetta Discord, and he mentioned that there's still some inconsistencies in the witch time length, so we're definitely going to need to spend a little bit more time looking at how much time you really do earn from these dodges. Not to mention bat within, because since there's no crow within in Bayonetta 3, what is the new equivalent to bat within? I need to know if we're getting something different that's the same as bat within's function, or if it's something totally different. Let's see. I'm noticing people are talking about dodge offset, and yeah, dodge offset is coming back. I mean, I would have been surprised if they got rid of that. Even though I don't like Bayonetta 2, they still brought back many elements from 1, like dodge offset. So yeah, it's really great to see dodge offset returning in 3, and that's a good thing. That is definitely a good thing. I'm not complaining there. I look great. No, I don't. I look like a goddamn butch with this haircut.
And time those dodges perfectly. Combine powerful attacks. And Bayonetta's witch time ability to eliminate threats in style.
I do like, let me see.
And Bayonetta's witch time ability.
I don't know if it's just because of the trailer, but it really does look like that by tapping into the Demon Masquerade, lifting up these giant enemies will be much easier to do now. Because in Bayonetta 2, even when you go into Umbran Climax, it was still relatively difficult to lift up some of those giant enemies. Like, for example, the one that I can think of, and I always forget its name. I think it's called Urbane. It's that giant golden angel that has these chain balls that, you know, swings it around like crazy. I don't know if you guys remember that one, but that enemy is so hard to control in Bayonetta 2. Even with Umbran Climax activated, you'd be lucky if you can get that thing into the air. It would be through certain actions that you could make it work. So I'm hoping that here with Demon Masquerade, it's much more of a breeze to lift these enemies up into the air, and it's definitely looking like you can do that, which means that there might be more emphasis on doing air combos. You know, I think there might be more emphasis to air combos because of how easy it is to lift them up with Demon Masquerade. I think that's pretty cool, but like I said, it could just be a trailer thing. They're only showing us the good stuff, so I can't really be certain, you know.
Powerful attacks. And Bayonetta's witch time ability to eliminate threats in style.
Seems like you're ready for the leash.
Wielding infernal demons. Okay, by the way, before we actually continue with this clip, I just want to point out that if this is the kind of boss battles that we're going to be encountering in Bayonetta 3, sign me up, because I think these boss fights in Bayonetta 3 are going to be a lot better than the boss fights we saw in Bayonetta 1 and 2. One of the biggest complaints that I have about Bayonetta as a whole is when you're encountering these boss fights, they're typically these bosses that are so large that you're always tasked with having to run on top of their bodies in order to get to their sweet spot or their weak spot. And it always made for a very unfun experience. I know to some people it is a lot of fun seeing this giant monster come out and you have to work your way around it in order to get to the enemy's weak point. But to me, I always like it better when you have a big enemy, not massively big, just big enough so that you can still have an arena to circle around them and battle them, because that meant that you would have to be using all of Bayonetta's tools to dance around the enemy. Like, bosses should be like regular enemies, only bigger and with more moves to deal with. Not this whole giant spectacle thing where you're always forced to be on this one tiny platform waiting for the bosses to just swing their attacks at you until you get them in their weak point and then keep attacking. That's the thing that I've never really liked about Bayonetta's boss fights, you know what I mean? It's always been kind of lame, for a lack of a better word. I always felt like they were kind of lame. They're fun. Don't get me wrong. I know some people love the boss fights, and I'm not telling them that they're wrong. But when you keep replaying Bayonetta over and over again to try to get the best score, these bosses end up becoming nothing more than white noise, where you're just tasked with having to constantly wait for these enemies to come at you. You know what I mean? It's kind of boring. So I'm hoping that this kind of enemy that we see here are gonna be the more typical bosses that we're gonna be encountering, because this boss already shows me that they really want to place an emphasis on having players do what they want to take down the boss, rather than just having to do tasks all across the boss's body parts so that you can get to where you need to be. You know what I mean? Transformers Devastation bosses clear most Bayo bosses. Yeah. It looks about as big as Goliath in DMC5. Absolutely. And Goliath is actually a really fun boss fight. You know what I mean? Oh yeah, the John fights are definitely the highlights of the Bayonetta 1 boss fights. It's definitely the highlight as a humanoid character. The humanoids in Bayonetta 2 are kind of the worst parts of the boss fights, because they always tend to ghost around your moves. Like, even when you throw out your strongest attack, like if you attack the Lumen Sage, there's a chance he'll just ghost right through it. Just ignore your attacks. And that's just so dumb, because it really feels like your effort to work towards your Wicked Weaves means nothing when these enemies can just ghost through them. You know, it's not a really good idea to have bosses react like that. At the very least, if you want bosses to pose a threat, give them super armor. Super armor is better than just making them invincible with their get out of jail free cards. That to me is a lot better. Chip away at the enemy's health constantly, not just be lucky and hit them when they're at their down position, you know? But this is just me spouting things out. I'm pretty sure there are other people there that are smarter than me, that know how to analyze bosses better than I can. But this is how I see things, because when it comes to the DMC franchise, I'm actually jealous with the DMC fans, because DMC fans get to have some of the most well-designed boss fights out there, while Bayonetta is stuck having to have bosses that are focused more on just being spectacles rather than being a mechanically rich fight that tasks you with using all you know about Bayonetta. It should be about using your knowledge with Bayonetta to get through, not just using the boss's rules as you're stuck helplessly in one spot having to fight it down, you know? That's how I see it. Again, I'm not good at these analysis, so I deeply apologize if it sounds like I'm talking backwards or whatnot, you know?
Even Umbran witches need a little extra help when taking on larger-than-life monsters. Time to summon an infernal demon.
And of course, here comes the one big selling point behind Bayonetta 3. You can now summon these giant demons. Which definitely, as a lot of people have said earlier when we first saw the trailer for Bayonetta 3, it's looking like they're tapping into scale-bound gameplay, where you have this one tiny character that fights the small characters while you leave it up to your dragon to fight the big enemies. So here, it's definitely going to be the same thing. You're going to use Bayonetta to fight the small enemies while you summon your giant demons to be able to fight the large enemies. Which, to me, is fine. I don't have a problem with that, because, hey, it's better to go toe-to-toe with equal sizes, you know?
Bayonetta is exposed to attacks while
And look at this. Like, summoning demons also allows you to just launch these giant enemies into the air.
summoning, so be sure to keep an eye on her as well.
And that's something I like about this ability. I like how it's not just a get out of jail free card, because that's one of the problems that I have with Umbran Climax. And it's kind of weird because I want to talk a little bit about Umbran Climax before we continue moving forward with this video. But I want to point out that one of the big problems that I have with Umbran Climax is that it wasn't really a cool ability in the grand scheme of things. It's a cool ability in terms of like a panic button, where when it looks like you're in danger and an enemy is about to hit you, you can just tap into Umbran Climax and then just start whacking away at the enemies. But the problem with the Umbran Climax ability is that there was really no thought process behind it. You either used it or you didn't. So when you activate Umbran Climax, you can just continue mashing away at the same combos you typically do. It's just that now you're much stronger. But the big problem behind this is that even though you are super strong when you're using Umbran Climax, you can still get hit by the enemies. But when you get hit by the enemies, there's no flinching whatsoever. I don't know if you guys remember, but when you're in Umbran Climax mode, you can still take damage from the enemies. It's just that when an enemy hits you while you're in Umbran Climax mode, you won't even tell you got hit because Bayonetta never flinches when she's in Umbran Climax mode, which I think was a bad design, because imagine you're working really hard to clear out all these enemies. You go into Umbran Climax, you're kicking these enemies' asses, but there's one enemy that manages to sneak behind you and hit you. You probably won't even notice that that happened because there's so much chaos going on screen, and since Bayonetta can't flinch, you won't know you got hit unless you're really paying attention to the health bar. So here, what they did was, instead of making Umbran Climax this random panic button mode, they made it where now you can just summon this monster that you can take control of. But when you're controlling the enemies, Bayonetta is completely vulnerable. So now you have to be managing between both of these characters to make sure that everyone is safe. This isn't a panic button moment. This is an ability where you can use it when you want to fight back strong, but you still got to be really careful with where you activate it, because just as the announcer says, Bayonetta is vulnerable when she's dancing. You got to keep an eye on her, and she won't flinch, or no, I should say she does flinch when an enemy attacks her. So when you make a mistake, you'll know you've made a mistake. You get me? That's what I'm trying to get at. I really think this new ability that Bayonetta has is much better in the grand scheme of things than what Umbran Climax was trying to do. Let me see what the chat is trying to say right now. I apologize for not reading the chat. Again, if I'm stammering, if I'm mumbling, if it sounds like I'm not making any sense, I do apologize. I'm trying my best to try to analyze this as best as I can. Maybe if anything, after I'm done with doing this analysis video, I should actually sit down and write all this out so I can make a properly edited analysis video. This is just a live stream analysis for the time being. You know what I mean? Exactly. Now there's a weakness behind the not Umbran Climax. There's a weakness behind the summoned demons, or the demon slaves. You know what I mean? That's what it's called, right? Demon slaves. I keep getting mismatched with all these names. I'm so sorry. I keep hearing masquerade mode and demon slave, and I know Chrysora spelled it out clearly for me in the Discord group. So from now on, I'm not going to call it masquerade. I'm just going to call it mask mode, because that's essentially what it is. Bayonetta is wearing a mask to become something else. I mean, not literally, but you know what I mean. So mask mode is when you wear something, and slave mode is when you have these enemies do your bidding because they are your slaves. Let's see.
So be sure to keep an eye on her as well.
Yeah, see, look right here. If you're not careful and you let these enemies get through your demon slave, Bayonetta will be completely vulnerable and will take the hit. And you will feel the hit. It's not like you'll just have random super armor and enemies will hit you and you'll never notice it.
You also want to keep an eye on this gauge too, as summoning demons consumes Bayonetta's magic.
Now, I find it really interesting that they made the magic bar an actual bar instead of like orbs as the representation. Because I have to wonder if that same magic bar is going to be the same one that will allow you to tap into the Tetsuzankos and the heel stomps and all sorts of other abilities that waste magic, assuming they come back. I actually don't know if they're coming back. There doesn't seem to be any real emphasis on that stuff here. I'm not entirely sure. I'm only assuming, you know what I mean? Ladies and gents, we have unique weapons still. Let's go. I've analyzed that we're going to be getting at least 6 more weapons, plus secret weapons, including Rodan. Look in the bottom left. In the bottom left? I don't know if those represent weapons, but I don't know. Yeah, no, that spider's fucking sick. The thing I also noticed about the gauge is that you are able to switch between your demon slave of choice, which I think is really cool. And one of the things that I remember someone pointing out from the last trailer that we had for Bayonetta 3 is that one of the demon slaves you can actually carry around is the actual train that you see in that one cutscene where you run into Chinese Bayonetta, who happens to be the conductor for the train. So I'm imagining that during gameplay, you'll be able to summon a fucking train to just ram into everyone. And I am so sad that there is no gameplay footage that shows that train. I want that train. I just want to summon the train and plow through everything. That has got to be the greatest thing I'll ever see. I can't wait to do train combos. I cannot wait to do these silly ass train combos. That's going to be fucking hilarious. But yeah, I do find it interesting that instead of these orbs, we have a bar now, you know?
Demons consumes Bayonetta's magic. Knowing when to switch between commanding infernal demons and controlling Bayonetta is a wicked way to
switch between infernal demons and Bayonetta while fighting. What I want to know is if you can switch between them fluidly, like at the push of a button, you can just immediately control Bayonetta. So it's like boom, bam, you're able to just swap around. Like, I guess while you're having the enemy do this one attack that has no cooldown, you could then switch over to Bayonetta while the enemy is still attacking. And if that's the case, damn, I actually think we're going to have a lot of big brain combos in Bayonetta 3. Because imagine, you can have the big dude do these crazy combos, and then just before it does just before it does like the final swing to kill the enemy, you can swap over to Bayonetta, then run to where the enemy is, lift them into the air, and then the enemy's in the air and they'll go right into the demon slave's punch. That's what I'm imagining, because Wonderful 101 has a lot of those big brain actions where you can just throw out multiple weapons all at once. And if you know how to control them all like properly, you can just basically have the enemies dancing around your weapons. Like sword here throws the enemy over here, to the fist, to the guns. I'm imagining that this is how it's going to work for Bayonetta 3. And it's awesome that they're doing this, because I remember reading up on the documents for Scalebound where they were talking about letting players be able to have combos where the dragon is essentially propping the monsters up into the sky and then throwing it to the player, and then the player can then combo that enemy and throw it back to the monster, and then the monster would then continue doing the combo. It's like you were playing a game of tennis between the two of them. Those were the documents that I remember reading up with for Scalebound. So it's looking like that's the concept that they're going to go with for Bayonetta 3, where now you will have control of these two characters, and with two characters, that means more room for creative combos, and that to me has me really hyped. That is why I am very excited for Bayonetta 3. It's the big brain action where you have to control two characters to come up with creative combos. That I think can be a lot better than what Bayonetta 1 does. And I know I'm saying that. I know that's a big thing for me to say, that Bayonetta 3 might actually be better than 1, but I'm sticking to my guns here, and I fully believe Bayonetta 3 may end up actually being the amazing combo heavy game we've all dreamed of. You know what I mean? That is what I want, because Wonderful 101 gave me that satisfaction of controlling everything within the grasp of my hands, and doing something similar with that in Bayonetta 3. Fuck yes! Yes! Let's go! That is why I'm excited for Bayonetta 3. But there's also one little thing that I have yet to talk about, but this is the thing that has me hyped now more than ever. Let's see. What's the likelihood that we get OG Bayo as a playable character too with the Bayo 1 moveset? You know, that's actually really funny that you asked that, because I have a very strong feeling that in this game you'll be able to unlock the original Scarborough Fair guns, which allows you to do the same combos that Bayonetta had from the first game, similar to what they did in Bayonetta 2, where if you unlocked Scarborough Fair, you would then have the same combos that you were able to do from part 1. I think it would be really cool that for Bayonetta 3, not only do you get Scarborough Fair, but you also get Love is Blue. So now players have the choice between playing Bayo 1 style, Bayo 2 style, or Bayo 3 style. I'm sorry. I was really holding that in. I was really holding in that excitement when I saw that they mentioned that you can control both of these characters. That's when the scalebound memories came back to me, because I was really looking into all the documents that these people were saying about scalebound, and I always felt extremely disappointed that the system where you can control two characters and basically just use those two to keep comboing these enemies was just gonna be something that'll be scrapped away. You know, that was what I was worried about. Oh man, they got rid of Scalebound, so now we will never see these amazing combos come into play. But no, they adopted all of that and put it into Bayonetta 3, and that is what has me excited. Extremely excited. Like, dude, the fact that you can control two characters is a big freaking deal. I'm probably making it a big deal, but that's what has me excited, you know? Maybe it might not dethrone Bayonetta 1, but I definitely think that 3 is shaping up to be something that's going to toss Bayonetta 2 into the garbage where it belongs. I know I'm being very harsh with Bayonetta 2, but I kind of have to be, because damn, that game left me so unsatisfied.
Demons can even intervene to bolster combos. Have your infernal demons stun an enemy, then follow up with one of Bayonetta's...
See, look at that! That is awesome! Like, okay, what I like is you don't necessarily have to play as the demon slave character. You can just pop them out, and I'm guessing through some certain input or whatever, I don't know. That's the thing I need to learn more about. You can have the slave just simply grab a hold of the enemy so that you, as Bayonetta, can then go to town and rip them to shreds with your own abilities. You know what I mean? That is awesome. And the fact that this dude is just throwing up the boss into the air. Well, not the boss, the enemy. Throwing up this enemy into the air so that you can go for the torture attack. Mwah! Beautiful. That's the stuff I'm looking for. And I love that they brought back this torture attack from Bayonetta 1. I'm so glad they brought this back.
Use the Wink Slave skill to add a fiendish finisher at the end of a combo.
See, that's what I was talking about earlier, that now there's emphasis on doing these combo finishers. When you finish your combo, you tap into the demon ability, which enhances your playstyle, and that is a good thing. The incentivizing players to finish combos is a good thing. Let's fucking go! And then you summon the demon slave to finish it off! Can you not see why I'm excited for this? That's so fucking cool. That is so cool. Oh my god.
Or conjure up an otherworldly ally to counter an incoming attack with the Assault Slave skill.
Counter with demons. This is the thing that also has me excited. And this is something that looks like they're borrowing from Astral Chain. I forgot the term. Chrysora, are you still in the chat? Because I know you know more about Astral Chain than I do. But in Astral Chain, there was this thing where, like, if you dodged an attack, you would earn a new, like, not a earn, but basically, like, when you dodge an attack, you get to tap into another attack of your own to throw back at the enemy. That's what they're essentially adding here. You now have a special kind of dodge. You now have a special kind of dodge where when an enemy attacks you, you can dodge, and that special dodge allows you to counter immediately with one of your slaves. That is a great idea. More options. That's what I'm looking for. Let me see if there was witch time there. No witch time. This isn't a dodge. This is just an actual counter where you could just throw out your slaves to do your bidding. This is awesome because while you're doing combos, you don't necessarily have to dodge anymore when an incoming attack comes at you. Instead, you could just continue fighting, and if this attack comes, just call in your buddy. They'll start ripping them to shreds while you're busy fighting these other enemies. More options that allows you to think outside the box is what makes this game so good so far. Astral Chain's perfect call. Summon a legion at the last second to counter. Yeah, that's what it is. Here, you summon the demon slave at the last possible second so that it could just immediately come in and start fighting. That is awesome.
Try triggering Witch Time as Bayonetta. Then switch to your Infernal Demon to land some heavy blows. Combining Bayonetta's abilities with the might of Infernal Demons is truly a match made in heaven.
It really is. It really, really is. I am very excited. Hold on a sec. Let me sort of reposition myself because I've been moving too far back here. Okay. I like that they're making it where you get to do what you want with these 3 abilities. Now, I'm not entirely sure if you can be able to power through the game using only one ability, but to me, it's really looking like they want you to intertwine within all 3 abilities: regular Bayonetta, Masquerade Bayonetta, and Demon Slave. Intertwine them all so that you I'm sorry. Use all 3, intertwining it all together to be able to create your own combo play style. Maybe there may not be juggle air combos here, but I prefer a game that feels satisfying to be able to do these perfect executions. It really looks like Bayonetta 3 is tapping more into the high risk, high reward gameplay. This is the thing that I have been wanting to see that Bayonetta 2 never had. Bayonetta 2 doesn't have high risk, high reward gameplay, but Bayonetta 3 certainly does have high risk, high reward gameplay, and this is what has me excited overall. Having all these 3 abilities that you can use at any given moment, you make the call on whether or not you want to dodge that attack or throw out these sleeves in perfect calls, or just make it where you could bring out the Demon Slave early so you could hold the enemy so you could continue doing these combos. There's a lot of options here. There are so many things you'll be able to do. And I'm just imagining more stuff that could happen here. And yeah, aside from the fact that you have 3 modes, you also get 3 different demons to call at any time. Dude, imagine perfect counter Demon Slave train. Oh my god, I can't wait to do perfect parry train combos. that is I am so hyped. I am so fucking hyped over the possibilities of everything you're gonna be able to do in this game. Dude. I am so happy. Like, I didn't want Bayonetta 3 to just be a game where you do air combos all the time. It would be silly of me to ask for Bayonetta 3 to be nothing more than just Bayonetta 1.5. It would be selfish of me. We need Bayonetta 3 to be its own thing, but it also needs to be a thing that feels great for both the casual players and the pro players. The casual players can have fun using the most powerful attacks in order to get through with ease. But it also feels like if you want to challenge yourself and not use the big demon slaves, you can also do that. I feel like that's totally possible because Bayonetta herself has amazingly powerful combo finishers. You know what I mean? If Platinum Games plays this right, I really feel like this is a game where you'll be seeing players play the game however they want with no options, funneling down to just one strategy. That was the problem that I had with Bayonetta 2. Almost everything you could think of, you just funnel it down to one safe spot. How do you get clear platinums in Bayonetta 2? Oh, easy. Just eat a bunch of items, go into Urban Climax, use the strongest hits, boom bam, brain dead gameplay. I'm certain it's not as brain dead as I'm making it out to be, but it really does feel brain dead. It feels monotonous. It feels like it gets old real fast. It feels like you've been there, you've done that. The most you can really enjoy out of Bayonetta 2 is the wildly creative new animations you can see unfold. But these animations don't really amount to anything because they really don't function as well as they should. Like Bayonetta has uppercuts in Bayonetta 2, but you can't prop enemies into the air properly, not without the aid of Bracelet of Time. That sort of thing, you know, funneled options. No, with Bayonetta 3, there is no funneled options as far as I can see. Now it's like you get 3 things that you could do. Go wild. Holy shit. Holy fucking shit. I think this is it. I think this is definitely the Bayonetta game that we can say will be phenomenal. Like, I am confident in saying this game will blow Bayonetta 2 out of the water completely. We can just forget about Bayonetta 2. I'm certain I will, but if you guys like Bayonetta 2, that's fine. Okay, I know I'm harsh with Bayonetta 2. But I'm already seeing the good stuff that Bayonetta 3 has, and I want more of this. More of this is what I want. No more Bayonetta 2. We no longer have to be stuck with the burden of saying that Bayonetta 2 is the last game. It's done. It's done. It's just the previous game. We have something new to look forward to. That's looking like it's going to be great. I can't say it'll top Bayonetta 1, but it's getting real close. I actually think this might actually dethrone Bayonetta 1. In my personal opinion. I'm sure there's going to be like super top pro players out there. Like maybe, I don't know, Saurian Dash? No, not even Saurian Dash. Because I know Saurian Dash loves to look at these creative stuff just as much as I do. I don't know. I can't think of a Bayonetta player who would say Bayonetta 3 is looking disappointing. I used to say Bayonetta 3 looked disappointing, but now I'm confident in saying it is not going to be disappointing. I am fully confident it's going to be the best game I've played in the longest time. Will it top Bayonetta 1? Probably not. But I don't want it to top Bayonetta 1 or 2 for that matter. It's a game all its own that just happens to have so many good, amazing things that has me excited, you know? I know, I'm going back and forward on all this talk, you know?
The demonic delights don't end there. By channeling the power of demons bound to her weapons, Bayonetta can transform her appearance.
That's the other thing I forgot to mention. It's not even 3 abilities. It's 4 abilities. You get 4 separate abilities to play with. Normal Bayonetta with their combo finishers. Demon Masquerade Bayonetta, where you tap into this whole new look using the weapon you were holding. The Demon Slave. Wait, that is like 3 things, right? Never mind. I must have miscounted somewhere along the way. Disregard that, I'm a dumbass. Disregard that, I am a total dumbass. Yeah, regular Bayonetta, Demon Masquerade Bayonetta, and Demon Slave. That's what I meant to say, yeah. Disregard that.
And access show-stopping new abilities. For example,
Dude, I definitely see like pure platinum videos where a person's like, pure platinum video using Demon Masquerade Bayonetta only. Because Demon Masquerade Bayonetta already looks like she can hold her own without the need of a Demon Slave. It's really wild that that's a thing. It really feels like this is an optional thing now. Doesn't feel like something you're forced to tap into, especially when normal Bayonetta has her own special finishers that's just as strong as her regular Demon Masquerade ability. Oh, we'll get to Viola just yet. I mean, we'll get to Viola soon. Is her name pronounced Viola or is it Viola? I know the announcer said Viola, but I could have sworn someone in the game said Viola. I'm just going to call her Viola.
Adding an extra oomph at the end of your combos. Or unleash powerful special attacks like this.
Look at that. That's wild. I want to also point out something that I really like about Demon Masquerade. That definitely makes it better than Umbran Climax. The thing I didn't like about Umbran Climax was that it was essentially the same combos you were already doing with Bayonetta, just with Wicked Weaves. It's kind of like going into serious mode with Bayonetta. I never liked it because it didn't really enhance your playstyle. It just made you stronger for a couple of seconds. It looks like with Demon Masquerade, you'll be able to tap into brand new combos that's unique to the Demon Masquerade. And that's a good thing, because that means that now there's a reason to swap between these abilities rather than just using Umbran Climax as a panic button, you know? That I think is great. See, because I really feel like this Demon Masquerade combo that she's doing right here, like those wild arm swings, that's exclusive to the Demon Masquerade ability, Masquerade Rage. That is fucking cool. And the best part, it doesn't look like it's wasting magic. Finally, the Platinum game with a good Devil Trigger-like mechanic. Exactly! Fucking exactly! I remember people telling me that Umbran Climax was basically Bayonetta's answer to the Devil Trigger, but the problem with that is that it really wasn't like Devil Trigger. You see, in DMC4, when you play as Dante, and when you go into Devil Trigger, you didn't just become stronger for a couple of seconds. You also gained new things to do when you were in Devil Trigger form. For example, you gained an extra jump. You gained an extra attack when doing certain attacks. Like, for example, when you do the kick 13. When you wear Gilgamesh, I think it's called, and you do the kick 13 in normal Dante form, he just does like 2-3 kicks. But when you're in Devil Trigger, he does multiple kicks and then he ends it with a kick launcher. So it gave you a reason to go into Devil Trigger. There was a reason to use Devil Trigger. It gave you new moves on top of the moves you already have. For Bayonetta, you didn't really get new moves. It was just, hey, you become stronger for a couple of seconds. Boom, bam, you're done. I know I'm being harsh on this, but yeah, I just thought Umbran Climax was kind of lame because all it really is a panic button where you go stronger for a couple of seconds. I much prefer what Bayonetta 3 is doing, where now you're tapping into brand new abilities that helps make that ability stand out. And what's really good is, like I said, it doesn't look like you really need it because Bayonetta herself has strong moves because they made her combo finishers strong. There's multiple options to pull from. It goes back to what I'm saying. More options is a good thing. No funneling. None of that nonsense. I know I'm repeating myself a lot, but you guys gotta understand, this is what I'm hyped about.
Each of Bayonetta's weapons inhabit different infernal demon powers.
And that's the thing that I like a lot too. On top of the fact that you have a bunch of weapons to experiment with, every weapon is gonna have 2 unique combo paths. One for regular Bayonetta and the other for Demon Masquerade Bayonetta. So now you get 2 different abilities from 2 of Bayonetta's different forms, on top of the fact that you can use Demon Slave. That's a lot of options. That's a lot of ways to come up with really cool creative combos. By the way, that whip attack is fucking sick. And also, it looks like she's on rollerblades. I like that a lot. Kind of looks like the Salamandra thing, where you equip it to your feet and she starts skating on the chainsaws. Looks like Bayonetta is skating again, but with something that looks more like actual roller skates. And look at that. Multi-hits with the whip, and it's fast and snappy. I like that a lot. But can you grab enemies? That's what I want to know. Can you grab enemies? That's the thing I want to know, because whip has always been my favorite weapon for that aspect alone.
Weapons in the heat of battle will not only increase
Look at that. That is so sick. These combo finishers are awesome. Oh my god. Okay. Okay. I am so glad that Platinum Games actually listened to me here. Because one of the things that I always bring up in our Bayonetta Discord groups, I know I brought it up in our Raccoonity group, I know I brought it up in the CUHRAYZEE group, and I know I brought it up in the Bayonetta Discord group, and everyone kept telling me I was crazy for saying this, but I always thought the hammer in Bayonetta 2 was terrible because I'm not a fan of weapons where their only design is to be a melee weapon. Because without the projectiles, what do you really have with the weapon? A charge attack. With the hammer, it was a cool weapon. I'm not saying the Takamikazuchi was a bad weapon. But what I am saying is that I always feel like Bayonetta weapons are at their best when you have both a projectile and a melee ability to work with. Because what makes Bayonetta awesome is that you can always fight against these enemies no matter what position you're in. You want to do a combo on an enemy up close and personal? You can do that. Would you prefer fighting enemies from a distance doing those same combos but now they have projectiles? You can do that. In Bayonetta 2, about half of the weapons that were in the game were mostly centered on being melee weapons. You had the Shuraba, the Kafka. No. Kafka is a projectile. Let's see. You have Shuraba, Rakshasa. You had the Takamikazuchi. And you had... what was another one? I know there was another one out there, but I forget. And I guess you could really say Kafka falls into the same lineup, where the problem with these weapons is that they are really cool on their own, but their secondary actions didn't really have anything beyond just charge for stronger move. And that's a very boring weapon design in my personal opinion. What do you do with the sword? You charge and hold for stronger attack. What do you do with the bow? You charge and hold for stronger attack. What do you do with hammer? You charge and hold and for stronger attack. That's boring. Give me a hammer that lets me shoot projectiles. And when I mentioned this in the Discord group, people are like, dude, you're already making the hammer broken. I don't care. Give hammer a projectile. Guess what? They did that. They fucking did that. They actually gave a hammer a fucking projectile. And I am happy. Look at this. You got a hammer. You can just swing it down. Oh no, you don't need to swing it down. Use it as a fucking rifle. Look at that! Oh my god! If I didn't know any better, I'd say Platinum Games really loves using the heavy bow gun in Monster Hunter. Look at this! Oh, it's so good! Fucking hammer of all weapons has a cannon. Oh, a rifle cannon. I fucking love it. And not only that, you could just transform into the hammer's ability. Why not? On top of the fact that you could slam your hammer down, not only can you shoot with the hammer, because why the fuck not, you can also tap into the hammer's ability and become a demon masquerade with said hammer. The options are crazy! 3 things you can do with 1 weapon. That is nuts. Spider swinging. As if we needed more Spider-Man movements in this game. I am envisioning a combo where you can have your demon slave doing these combos on an enemy while you turn into a spider and just swing around until you hit the enemy for the final blow. God.
To find new locations and battles off the beaten path.
Yuck. Bayonetta 2 enemies. I hate Bayonetta 2 enemies. You know what? I don't care. I know I'm being harsh on Bayonetta 2, but you know what? I'm glad that they are coming back because now I get to use all of these crazy shit on them that I couldn't do back in Bayonetta 2.
No matter what the odds, use Bayonetta's stylish moves and the unholy power of the infernal demons to come out on top.
I am in love, guys. I am in love. I am confident in saying Bayonetta 3 is gonna rock our world. Big time. I promise you guys one thing. When Bayonetta 3 comes out, I am going to stream the ever-loving hell out of that game. I will do my best to come up with some of the wildest combos imaginable. I feel like Bayonetta is back. I actually feel like Bayonetta the character is truly back.
When clearing a chapter,
By the way, I also mentioned this in my Twitter account, but I really like this new UI for the ranking screen. There are two particular things that I noticed about this ranking screen, and I think these are phenomenal changes. The first and most important new change in the ranking system, it looks like you can now individually update the verses with a new rank. Notice how the third verse and the third to last verse says updated? I feel like now, instead of having to play from beginning to end to do a platinum run perfectly all the way through, now you can just update each verse individually instead of doing it all the way through now. Now, originally, I was a little against this idea. Because, I don't know, I'm an old school player. I like those arcade games where you can be challenged with having to go from beginning to end, getting everything perfectly done. But then someone on Twitter said something that I wholeheartedly agree. While it is fun and challenging to get from the very beginning to the very end, doing nothing but pure platinums along the way, who on earth actually enjoys doing that? And who here has never actually attempted to do it? Who here has actually attempted to do it without restarting the chapter? You know what I mean? Even I'm susceptible to that. I'm always quitting out of the chapter whenever I mess up and then loading back in to try again. So you know what? Being able to individually update ranks by their respective verse is by far the best quality of life change that Bayonetta 3 has done so far. Bar none. That is a good update. And I'm really glad that that's a cue that they took from Astral Chain, because I believe Astral Chain had that same system where you can just update each one individually. Now, I have a feeling that we may still need to do a pure platinum run from beginning to end in order to maybe achieve a pure platinum. I think that might be the caveat here, where maybe you can update each of these individually, but if you want to go for the pure platinum and showcase your true skills, that's where you do it from beginning to end. But to be honest, that's still a little too much. I think it's a lot better if we're allowed to just individually update these things until it becomes a pure platinum rank. Because who has the time to do it from beginning to end? I love doing it from beginning to end, so it's not going to stop me from doing that, but it's nice to know that the option for individually updating everything is there, and so it really does make everyone happy. I have the choice of doing it from beginning to end, just like you have the choice to update these individually. It makes everyone happy. That's a good thing. That is a really, really good thing. Now, the other thing I want to point out is they also made it where now in the UI, you can now see how many verses the chapter actually has. It shows you with these empty coin slots. Now, I know Bayonetta 1 had a thing where if you skipped a verse, you would have like a black medal to show that you missed a verse. But I think, I might be wrong here, but I believe that in Bayonetta 2, it only showed a blank spot, which meant that you wouldn't entirely know if you did all the verses, because maybe there's a hidden verse there, maybe there's a hidden last verse that you didn't know. But since it's blanked out from the screen, you wouldn't know that there's a hidden verse. So now with this new UI, you get to see all the slots, letting you know how many verses there actually are in the chapter you were in. That is a really good thing. It's the slots, the coin slots. Look at the, I have a mouse. What am I doing here? Look at these coin slots. These empty slots lets you know that these are the verses you missed. That's what I mean. Like at the end of the chapter, it shows you the individual verses. They even tell you in the trailer that when you defeat a chapter, you get a rank and then show you this image. Yeah, I know. What I'm saying is that now with this new end of chapter results screen, you get to see how many verses there actually were in that chapter, and you can update each verse with their individual. You can individually update the verses with a new rank instead of having to do it from beginning to end.
You'll receive a result based on your performance. Show them you can slay in style and aim for the highest score possible.
Oh, by the way, I also noticed something here. This isn't a huge deal, but notice how here there is now a button that allows you to upload this screenshot to Twitter. You know, that's a thing that Switch has where you can just automatically take a picture and then send it to Twitter. They really do want to emphasize on players taking pictures of these screenshots and sending them to Twitter so that everyone can share with the world how good they are at playing Bayonetta. And now here we go. As if Bayonetta wasn't awesome already, I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. I actually think Viola is going to be my favorite character to play as in this game, because she has so many cool tools that makes her feel just as stylish as a character from Devil May Cry.
You want some too? Fine. It's bacon time.
It's bacon strips! Boy, that line is so bad. I can't wait for us to meme the hell out of "It's Bacon Time." Remember when Viola said "It's bacon time"? Man, that was great.
The mysterious witch in training, Viola.
See, look, the announcer says Viola. I'm just gonna call her Viola.
Holds the key to this
My finger points.
store.
By the way, that's a really fucking cool shot. I don't care if you guys hate Viola. You gotta give this shot, like, you gotta give PlatinumGames kudos for making this really cool ass shot right here. I really do like Viola. I know there's people that hate her, but I like her a lot. I think she's really cool. You know what? She's so cringe, she's managing to circle it back to being cool.
To this story. Wielding a
So, first off, the thing that makes Viola the standout character is that she's going to rely on parries as her playstyle. She's not able to dodge. Instead, if you want to go into witch time, you're gonna have to go for those parries. That means that this is a character that's going to heavily rely on player skill rather than just focusing on mashing the dodge button to get those free witch times. Now you gotta earn them witch times. You gotta parry that shit. We're fucking Raiden from Metal Gear Rising now.
sword and magical darts, Viola's approach to combat is slightly different to the titular witch.
Those projectiles are fucking awesome too. Like, oops, I knocked my fucking mic.
For example, Viola can activate witch time by blocking incoming attacks at the right time.
Yeah, so now it's all about doing parries. It's all about doing parries. You gotta parry for the witch time. No dodging, just you and your own blocking skills. She's got the free Muna Mahakala now. And look at that. Remember when I said in the last analysis video that I want Viola to have combos where she can throw her sword? Well, there it is. She can definitely do combos where she's throwing her sword. Freaking, what was the name of that ability from Devil May Cry? Oh my god, it escapes me. I'm so sorry. Oh god. But yeah, that's basically what they're doing here. You now have these moves where you could just toss your sword out for extra attacks. For round trip. Thank you. Thank you very much. You are my buddy.
She can also summon a powerful ally in the form of the infernal demon bound to her sword, Cheshire. While Cheshire is summoned, Viola fights barehanded and...
See, when you throw your sword and summon Cheshire, that's when Viola has a different set of moves. So they're doing the thing that DMC4 Special Edition did where you play as Trish. And when you're playing as Trish, Trish has two different types of play styles depending on how you use your sword. If you hold on to the sword, you can use it to do these melee attacks on the enemies. You can also prop them up, throw it around, all sorts of things. But when you throw the sword and the sword is doing its round trip ability, that's when Trish taps into her actual melee attacks. This is freaking wild. So here, they really are taking cues from DMC4 where now you do practically the same thing. Where you do your combos with your sword, but when you throw it out and you summon Cheshire, that's when Viola decides to throw hands.
without the aid of witch time, while her capricious kitty goes to town on any enemy.
That. The moment I saw that backflip kick, I fell in love with Viola. I definitely think Viola is gonna have some cool ass combos. Because look at this. Look at her here. She's doing an afterburner kick on a pretty large enemy, no less. And then look at this. She does a couple of punches and then winds up for that fucking guile kick. Look at this. Look at that fucking guile kick. It launches the enemy into the air. You can relaunch enemies into the air in Bayonetta 3. That is fucking glorious. I really hope that Viola can be able to use that zip line that we saw in that cutscene in the last trailer. I hope she can use that to attach herself to the enemy like Bayonetta does when she tosses out her CUHRAYZEE. And look at that, just slam the enemy away.
Switch between Viola's swordplay and Cheshire supported strikes to bring the fight to any situation.
I'm in love. I love Viola a lot. Okay, let's take a look at this menu, because this menu is really fucking cool. I like this a lot. You can aim at the board to choose where to go, which I think is really cool. Check it out here. We have the gallery. We have the difficulty selection, online rankings. I think, I might be wrong here, but I think when ESRB said that they rated the game to have online functionality, like maybe DLC or something like that, I think what they were referring to was the fact that this game is going to have online rankings, which I think was something that Bayonetta 2 didn't have. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure if Bayonetta 2 had it or not, but I know it's something they got rid of from Bayonetta 1 in later ports of the game. They only brought it back in the PC port of Bayonetta 1. But it looks like they're bringing back the online ranking, so I don't think Bayonetta 3 is actually going to have DLC. I really hope Bayonetta 3 doesn't get DLC. It doesn't need DLC. I guess if it were to get DLC, what I really want is just new locations to fight in. Don't give me this crap about like, oh, imagine DLC with new clothes and stuff. No, 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 to hell with that. I want everything to be crammed to this game. No need for DLC. This game needs to be loaded with content right from the get-go. And only then, when we finally experience with everything, can we totally start to hope for DLC. But in the meantime, I really don't want there to be DLC. I really just want to soak in everything this game has, you know?
You can change the difficulty settings at any time.
By the way, pour one out for the old difficulty descriptions for Bayonetta. No longer do we have normal, hard, very hard, or non-stop infinite climax. We don't even have first climax, second climax, third climax, none of that. Now they made it much more simpler for people to figure it out. Now you have casual, standard, and expert. I'm wondering, what kind of a difference do we really get out of these three? I actually do find it interesting that we now have 3 difficulty choices to choose from instead of 5. Because before we had very easy, easy, normal, hard, very hard. And I'll be honest with you guys, I never felt like we needed a very easy. We just needed an easy. So I kind of think simplifying it down to just 3 choices was the best call they could have done. But hopefully there's a lot to experience with expert mode. Maybe, this is just me throwing it out there, but maybe if we were to get DLC, I'd be okay with there being DLC that adds an extra hard mode, like a super expert mode, like a European extreme difficulty, where now you're not allowed to get touched once, and if you do, you instantly die or something.
To suit you. In addition to the 3 difficulty modes shown here.
Oh, there's descriptions for each of these difficulties. So let's see. Standard is a difficulty for those who enjoy thrilling battles. A difficulty for veterans of hardcore action looking to show off their skills. I like that a lot.
In addition to the 3 difficulty modes.
And then a difficulty for those simply looking to enjoy the story. So this is basically for the entire Raccoonity group. I kid. For anyone who's in the Raccoonity group, hello. I also like this UI where you really get to see up close on like all of these equipments that Bayonetta have and seeing them be placed on her body. I think that's really freaking cool. Oh, and I do notice that, yeah, it doesn't look like we'll be able to customize our weapon slots the way we could in Bayonetta 1 and 2. It now looks like we just have one designated weapon of choice for both our hands and feet, and then the other one is the actual demon slave itself. I kind of feel bad about that, but at the same time, I kind of feel like they had to make that call in order for there to be room for players to do something with their controller. The way I see it, since the A slot is the weapon and the B slot is the demon slave, I guess the same button that you were to use to switch between weapons is now the same button that you use to switch between the multiple forms that Bayonetta has between herself and the Demon Masquerade. Or not the Demon Masquerade, the Demon Slave. I'm sorry. I'm getting everything confused here. I apologize, you know. And I really like how they're putting a lot of emphasis on the Immortal Marionette. You guys should know that the Immortal Marionette was something that had already existed in Bayonetta 1 and 2, but I find it funny that they're pointing it out here. They're saying, hey, look, if you don't want to do complicated combos, that's totally okay. We got a new doll here that lets you do auto combos. It is nice that they're putting a little bit of emphasis on that, because I'm guessing they really want the people that are watching this trailer to go in and not feel ashamed for not being good at these kinds of games. And I think it's important. I think it's important to really try to make these games more welcoming for everyone. And look at this. This is something that I mentioned in my Bayonetta 1 Let's Play, but I think it's super important to have a video that displays all the things that you are able to buy. That way, players can see exactly what it is they're getting themselves into when they purchase these new abilities. This is something Wonderful 101 had, where before you buy a custom block or a new attack, there's a little video that demonstrates for you exactly what it does. And I'm grateful that Bayonetta 3 is doing that. See, look, video demonstration. That's fucking great.
Foes and dispatch them with graceful moves by simply pressing one button. It's a great option for those who only want to taste the battle and to focus on enjoying the story.
I don't know if it's just for the trailer. I really like the swapping weapon and stuff, but you never know. It's a bit confusing, but 2 weapon sets mean 2 masks. Slave is separate and tied to D-pad with 3 options.
Can't wait to tap into Bayonetta's naughtier side? Even more over-the-top moves and combos await you. Each one more beautiful and brutal than the last. Get ready for a devilishly good time that'll leave you bewitched.
There's really nothing else I can add here, man. I think what I said needed to be said.
October 28th.
Oh my god. Hold on. There was something I wanted to show you guys earlier, but I couldn't find it because I couldn't see it anywhere in this video. Let me see if I can find it.
And with
I know I saw this earlier because I took a screen cap of it.
such as this one, unknown creatures will attack without warning. Time for Bayonetta to do what she does best. Use these buttons to execute punches.
You know, I'm looking at this same combo before.
Pull off multiple attacks using different button combinations.
It's so weird because I know I saw a clip of this, but and I took a screen cap of it, but basically, something that they showed in this trailer is that your bullets can now bounce off walls again, which was something that you could do in Bayonetta 1, but not in Bayonetta 2. So I'm glad that they're bringing that back. So that's great. They're bringing back a couple of elements from Bayonetta 1 into Bayonetta 3, and I think that's a good thing overall. But yeah, I already said everything I needed to say about the gameplay. You guys know me. I've been very harsh with Bayonetta 2 for an incredibly long time, but if you guys wanted to know my solid opinion on Bayonetta 3 so far, at least from what I have seen, because what's also important is playing the game and feeling the game. Just from what I've seen so far, I have no doubts that this is going to be one of the best Bayonetta experiences we'll ever have, bar none. It's definitely going to blow Bayonetta 2 out of the water.
Perform hair-raising combos with ease. Of course, there's more to Bayonetta than just...
I'm sorry. I have a bit of a headache because of all the screaming that I did earlier. I'm sorry. I was just really excited. But before I get going, there are a few things I really do want to talk about. Hold on a sec. Because I remember that I was asking people in my Discord group if they could share with me these additional footages that Nintendo of Japan were showing. Hold on a sec. Because, yeah, this stream is not done yet. Here we go. Here are some extra footages that were posted somewhere online that we didn't really get to see in this trailer. And by the way, big shout outs to Conmeo. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Conmeo. I don't know. Every time I see Con, I'm tempted to say it in a very Spanish flair. So your name is Conmeo. Thank you very much for sharing these with me. But these are the new clips that we didn't get to see in the trailer. And there's no audio here, so don't tell me to raise up the volume. But yeah, these are the new clips that we didn't get to see. Look at that. We see Bayonetta in her casual outfit, which is pretty fucking cool. And somebody pointed this out in another Discord group, but that outfit of hers is a reference to one of the concept arts that one of the artists did, where she was wearing that same shirt and jeans. And I think it's really awesome that they're tapping back to the original concept arts of the first game. But there's more. I know there's more. Hold on a sec. Let's see. Here's more footage. Hold on. Again, no audio here, just pure gameplay. Which I've already said enough about this. It's just looking phenomenal, man. I'm hella excited. Oh my god! I did not see that one before! Dude! That fucking uppercut that Viola was doing was wild! Look at that! Oh my god! Oh my god! She can follow up the enemy! I'm sorry, what is that? Oh my god, that afterburner kick is fucking wild! Oh my god! Look at this! She is fast! She has that uppercut with that wild swing, pushes the enemy away, but then follows it up with an afterburner kick, then comes down for the kick. Doesn't push the enemy all the way down though, because she lands first and not the enemy. Oh my god, I want more Viola gameplay. Look at this. This is fucking sick. Oh my god. I did not see this one before. I'm sorry. I know I'm falling in love with this 1 5-second clip, but Jesus Christ. Why didn't they put this in the trailer? Dude, Viola is fast. She is crazy fast. Yeah, it's like someone said here, Nero's Rev level 3 launcher. That's fucking wild. I wish there was audio for these clips. But no, we have to make do with the mute. I would add sound effects for you guys, but I'm not entirely sure how to talk like a woman. Oh my god. Oh my god! What the fuck is this combo finisher? Look at that! Just fucking tap dancing the enemies to hell. Oh my god. Oh my god. As if this game wasn't already crazy to begin with. You can fucking tap dance on the enemies. Dude, what the flying fuck? My god, it really feels like this game is going to be hella fast. Look at the way these characters are moving at lightning speeds, swapping in and out of these moves. I'm just in awe. Holy cow. I'm just mesmerized by everything that I'm seeing here. Holy shit. Dude, that Cheshire character is going to be wild in it itself. I didn't even get the chance to analyze Cheshire, but there really isn't much else I can say. Cheshire just feels like the Demon Slave, only that one's more automatic because it doesn't really point out that you can control it. So I'm assuming Cheshire is just full automatic. And then there's these meteors coming from the sky. Dude, is this fucking Cloverfield? Wait a minute, what the dude! Is that the old Bayonetta? Oh my god! What? What is this? I'm seeing all of these clips for the very first time, and it's like, what is going on here? So apparently, like, Bayonetta's falling from the sky? Oh my god. It's fucking it's OG Bayonetta. I'm shocked. Well, not really shocked. We kind of already figured that there was going to be multiple Bayonettas here, but damn. I was taken by surprise that we'll see the OG Bayonetta here the way like this, where she's just coming down from the sky like a meteor and then fucking landing on the ground completely unscathed, somehow not getting burned alive from that. This environment looks wonderful. I feel like this is the same city from the second game, except now we're in the summertime. Oh my god, this is... Oh my god. So, I saw this clip, and my god, Bayonetta is rocking those mom jeans like there's no tomorrow. Look at this. Oh my god. You want to clap that shit. Oh my god. I'm sorry. The horny side of me is getting too strong right now, but oh god, there's something about women in jeans that I love. God bless jeans. God bless yoga pants. Look at the Dunk is real. I'm not typically infatuated with Bayonetta. Funny thing about that. I think Bayonetta is sexy, but she's not actually attractive to me, if that makes any sense. But holy hell, man. Like, I don't know what possessed Platinum Games to put Bayonetta in mom jeans, but you're making me fall in love with her, and I shouldn't be doing that. Also, I like that Enzo's car is blue now. Yeah, that's totally Enzo. Rocking that New York cap. Going off to see the Yankees game. Oh my god. Dude, what? Look at Bayonetta having tons of fun with that hammer. More Viola shots, yeah. Like I said, I don't mind Viola. I think she's cool. I know a lot of people see her as cringe, but to me, she's not cringe. She's just a character who happens to be a fish out of water type of character, stuck in this world with Bayonetta. I like it. Okay, guys. I think I've said enough. So what do you guys think? With everything that you've seen so far with Bayonetta 3, and after seeing my analysis with Bayonetta 3, what do you guys personally think. Let me lie back for a second, because I am just so exasperated. There's like 76 people watching the stream right now. And I apologize if the chat seems to be broken. There should be more activity with the chat, right? Or is the chat actually okay? If you guys think the chat is messed up, I can try and fix that for future streams, but there's really not much else I can do, especially since this chat is being controlled by this software called Restream. And Restream is what allows me to stream to both Twitch and YouTube simultaneously. So Viola is looking like your main says Flying Ligma. Crazy Pengu says this might be one of the best hack and slash games of all time. Hold on a second. I'm going to go ahead and flip this around. That's better. Let me sit up for this. Again, I do have to apologize that I have this mic set up the way like this, because, man, if I put it here, you probably might not hear me too clearly. I want to try to make sure that I can get some indirect audio, but also make sure that it doesn't like get in my way. How's that looking for you guys? Let's see. I guarantee if Bayonetta 3 was on better hardware, then it would be Game of the Year. But graphics are more important than gameplay these days. I agree, actually. I know a lot of people care too much about graphics. People are all about the 4K textures and whatnot and what have you. And people are going to say like, oh man, these graphics are shitty. They look like PS3 graphics. And it's like, dude, that's kind of a compliment, because PS3 games already looked pretty good to begin with. If you ask me, I feel like graphics peaked during the Xbox 360 and the PS3 days. You know, we don't need to go any further with these graphics. You know, what we need is performance. 60 FPS gameplay is super important. I know that's why PC gaming is kind of important, because that's where you don't get any drawbacks. You can just have a really good computer with super magnificent graphics, with the emphasis, with the benefits of having 60 FPS to even 120 FPS gameplay. But when it comes to console gaming, there's only really so much you can really do. So yeah, it does kind of suck that Bayonetta 3 is stuck on Nintendo hardware, because damn, if it could be released anywhere else, I know for a fact that the game would not only look a little better, it would probably run better too. That's actually the biggest fear that I currently have. All the wild shit that Bayonetta 3 is doing, you know there's going to be frame drops. There's going to be frame drops. I mean, Bayonetta 1, since its debut, always had frame drops. Hell, Bayonetta 1 on the Xbox 360 also had this weird screen tearing thing. I don't know if you guys remember, but Xbox 360 was extremely prone to screen tearing. Mostly because they would have like unlocked gameplay or unlocked FPS, or it was like one of those where, I don't know, VSync was turned off, which would make the screen tearing all the more noticeable, but that's what they would need to do to keep the game running well. Yeah, Bayonetta on Xbox 360 suffered from screen tearing, and it was something that always drove me nuts. I never liked the screen tearing, so it was kind of great to see that disappear when they ported the game to the Wii U, and obviously when they ported it to PC. And of course, when they ported it to the Switch. No more screen tearing, but of course, there's always those variables with frame rate. And of course, you have the benefit of playing it on PC, where you get beautiful graphics with modding and 60 FPS gameplay. Of course, now with Bayonetta 2 and 3 being Nintendo exclusives, we now have the caveat of the console itself. I do hope that Nintendo decides to make a new console that's essentially a Switch Pro, where we get to play all of these Switch games, but with better performance and probably visual enhancements, if at all. But yeah, that's about the one downside I can say about Bayonetta 3. The graphics don't look all that good, but graphics don't really matter much, just like some people here said. But it would have been nice to see Bayonetta looking beautiful, but I'm certain that Platinum Games had to do what they had to do to keep the game running well, especially with all the crazy shit going on. I mean, with the Demon Masquerade, the Demon Slave, all that stuff. Yeah, I get it. I totally get it. Anyway, I'm getting a little tired, so I guess I'm gonna wrap it up here. Before I leave, before I leave, I do want to give a shout out to the people in my Bayonetta Discord group, the Bayonetta Lab Corner. They are all truly amazing people for supporting the content that I make. I'm really happy that there is a community out there that accepts me for who I am, even if I can be harsh with the Bayonetta franchise. But I want you guys to know that I tend to be pretty harsh with the Bayonetta franchise because I adore it as much as anyone else does. And I'm one of the few people that have spent so much time looking into these intricate gameplay mechanics, so you can't really blame me when I play Bayonetta 2 and I feel frustrated with it. I know I like to say that Bayonetta 2 is garbage, but the truth of the matter is, it's really not garbage. It is a good game. It's just not the ideal game for players like me. And I'm really glad that Bayonetta 3 is looking like it's going to rectify that sort of aspect. It's looking like it's going to bridge the casuals with the pros into this one nice tight universe. Let's see. The art style is still good, and I'm certain the actual game development looks better than what is found on the actual hardware. Bayonetta 2 is frustrating because it's good, but it doesn't meet its promise, in my opinion. Yeah, you know what? I think that's a nice way to say it. Bayonetta 2 is a frustrating game, but it's a pretty good game, but it's just one of those games that misses the mark in a lot of ways. I know there's people that are shocked whenever I say Bayonetta 2 is not good, and they'll usually respond with, but it's Bayonetta 1, but with no QTE insta-death. That makes it better. And it's like, not really. Not really at all. There's more to a game's fault than just... I should say there's more to a game than just removing QTEs, but, there's only so much complaining about Bayonetta 2 I can do. Besides, I've already promised that eventually I will be streaming Bayonetta 2, where I get to talk more in details about the game itself. As for when I'll actually stream it, let's say not this Friday, but the week after. Because this Friday, I'm going to be going on vacation with my family. My family and I, we booked a hotel in this beach all the way in the west side of Florida. We're going to a place called Bonita Beach, and I will be there for the entire weekend. I'm going to use this as a chance to sort of relax and give myself some chance to rewire myself so that I can be at my best performance. You know what I mean? I do apologize for making a lot of people feel uncomfortable in a lot of the communities that I'm in, because I know I'm really harsh in the way I speak, but I want you to know that I do it completely out of passion. You know what I mean? They fixed both games' flaw into one game. I know Bayonetta 1 has flaws. Like, I've never once said that Bayonetta 1 was perfect. I think it's a fantastic game, but it's just one that misses the mark, mostly because it was designed in a way where you just sort of have to guess what it is that Kamiya wants you to do, Like, I remember talking about how in Bayonetta 1, the tutorials were really lame. It didn't really teach you the benefits of Bayonetta's extending abilities. It just tells you it exists and it throws you out there. That's bad tutorial design. Tutorials should not be about just telling you it exists and then expecting you to learn from it. It should be about modifying the world so that you're tasked with using those abilities so that then you can see for yourself the benefit that it has. You know? But yeah. Yeah. Um One final thing before I actually go. If you guys are interested, I do have a Discord channel that you can check in the bottom of this video. In the description, there is a Discord group called the Bayonetta Lab Corner. I mentioned this not too long ago. It's a place where people can come and talk about Bayonetta from a technical standpoint. If you love Bayonetta for the gameplay that it offers, this is a great place for you to come by and visit. Because this is a Discord group that is dedicated to just talking about gameplay, talking about tech, talking about combos and how to create your combos, all sorts of things. So if you're looking to play Bayonetta and you want to be able to pull off these wild combos the way that I do in the combo videos that I create, you should definitely stop by. Come visit us. And if you have any questions about Bayonetta, you can jump into that Discord group and ask away, and I will gladly answer anything having to do with the franchise. I have played these games for endless years. 10 fucking long years of Bayonetta gameplay, enough for me to know so much. And even with those 10 years, there are still some things I'm learning to this day. So believe me when I tell you that Bayonetta is still a learning experience even for me, and I've done so much with the franchise. So if you want to hang out with us, you're more than welcome to. It's also a place where I make announcements for future stream updates. So if you want to watch me play Bayonetta, you can join that group for that reason alone too. It's also where I will in the future host the next Bayonetta collab project where people will be able to submit their combos to me so I can make one colossal Bayonetta combo video. I've already made 2. If you've never heard of the Bayonetta collab project, you should definitely check it out. It is nothing but 40 minutes of non-stop crazy combo action gameplay. The Discord name is Bayonetta Lab Corner. There's other Discord groups there that I have linked, and these are groups that I'm in that I think are it's worth coming in to visit. I have the Wonderful 101 Discord group, which I also own. Well, I don't own it, I co-own it, but I've basically managed to keep it in control on myself. But there are wonderful people there that you should really talk to because we adore Wonderful 101 a lot. And Wonderful 101 is one of my most favorite games made by Platinum Games, so you should definitely check that place out too. We only talk about that one game, just keep that in mind, but we do like talking about other Platinum Game stuff, you know. But yeah, there's also the Bayonetta Lab Corner, like I mentioned. There's the CUHRAYZEE Action Games group. This is the group dedicated to talking about stylish action games as a whole. We talk about Devil May Cry, we talk about Vanquish, Bayonetta, Ninja Gaiden, that sort of thing. And I also have a special dedicated Bayonetta Discord group that's managed by a different set of people, and this is the one that's a lot more popular because this is more about Bayonetta as a whole, where people can talk about the story, can talk about the lore, that sort of thing. I have it there because everyone in these groups are all amazing. Like all the Discord groups that I linked, I think these are all fantastic Discord groups because it's managed by these fantastic, wonderful people, and the members that are in these groups are all fantastic people. You will not regret being in this group. In any of these groups, we are all amazing crew members. You know what I mean? I want to end it on a good note here, so that's the way I will end it. All of you guys, everyone in Discord, all of my viewers, all of my subscribers, everyone, you are all amazing people. I'm very happy to have an audience like this. Even if I'm not popular, even if I'm not the most respected Bayonetta player, I'm just happy that in general, there are people that support the content that I create. And believe me when I tell you that once Bayonetta 3 comes out, you can expect some wild combo videos out of me. I feel compelled to say that Bayonetta 3 will definitely be the ultimate Bayonetta experience. So, with that said, I am getting really tired if you haven't already tell. If you couldn't already tell, I'm actually getting pretty tired. The bright lights are not doing me any favor here. The moment I cut off the stream, I'm just going to go right to fucking sleep. Thank you all so very much for tuning in. Thank you all so much for following, tuning in, watching all these things that I do. Have yourselves a wonderful night, wonderful morning, wonderful evening. And until then, this is Seth saying, stay wonderful. Take care.
I know that you'll be back.